Hey guys, as a used car dealer and having a lot of inventory, I am always thinking about to share with you what it's like to be the used car dealer here in Los Angeles. Summertime, winter time, there is a lot of things going on. There is a lot of cars being sold and bought. And it's always interesting for me, to share with you information, what I can share, and maybe help you sometimes, how the condition of this car, is it worth it to buy it, how much you can spend on it. I mean, it's all approximate numbers, sometimes less, sometimes more. But today I'm gonna talk about one of the car. The one is go for about 150,000, 120,000, 100,000, 110,000, different MSRP, because it's a different color combination, different option combination. But right now they're going in the price so much down, and instead of paying 120,000, you can pay about 35,000, 40,000, right, and get the nice condition Range Rover full size. And today it's one of them, and I'm gonna try to answer the question why those cars is so expensive from the beginning and why they're going down the price so much, and what's the main reason, in my opinion, ruining those cars to bring down the value of that. So it's going to be an interesting video about the beautiful car, what we have for sale right now, and I love to drive it. I think if you drove one of that car, you probably enjoying it also, and you might gonna be agree with me. It's a beautiful, nice car. So let's see, this kind of car, I did it several times, I think. My lovely BMW i8. That's one of the last one, I think, in good shape available in the market, and that's the one. It's Land Rover Range Rover V8 supercharged, full size, 2019. It's a beautiful condition. It's a beautiful color. And we're gonna drive it, we're gonna talk about it, and I'm gonna try to share with you what it feels like to have a used Range Rover full size, and why this car, it's so cheap right now, and what's the main problem of those cars, what's ruining the price, what's ruining the value of those Range Rovers. So guys, let's go on this Range Rover. Look how huge this car is, and what's the tire size? I think it's 22s. Yeah, that's 275/40 22s. They're so big, they're so nice looking, black rims, and it's comfortable. To be honest with you, maybe in LA I would say so, it's better to go with 20 and a little bit higher tires than this one. But the way suspension works on Range Rover, I can compare this car only to S-Class. I don't know if you same opinion on that or not. So that beige on the back, supercharged, it sounds expensive. Not only MSRP, it always sounds expensive on repairs. So double door on the back, and we can play with some, actually this one is manual, but when you close it, it's closing both together. That's a cool option. It's just so nice. I'm not sure if this one has a sensor, because most of the cars, even my X1 has it, but this car looks like not. So let's go back to the options in the trunk area. So besides folding the seats down, we can adjust the suspension. We can go a little bit down if we need to put some stuff in the trunk really bad, or same time we can go up just a little bit. Sometimes it helps if you put in heavy stuff not from the ground, from somewhere higher. And the trunk space inside this Range Rover just insanely huge. I know the new one, they do have this, it's folding automatically by pushing the button, but this one looks like it's manual, right? Am I wrong or right? No, I'm right. So it is manual. A lot of space inside, a lot of stuff you can carry on if you want to. And the spare tire, full-size spare tire, sometimes it helps a lot. Honestly, I like the full-size spare tire more than just air compressor and some glue. What do you prefer? You prefer the glue in your trunk or you prefer the full-size spare tire? That's the good question. Please answer in the comments below. So I like all the shapes of this car. I like the huge doors, and definitely I like the way this car comfortable for you as a driver or for you as a passenger. On the back there is adjustable seat, and it's actually for 3 passengers, not for 2, but we got rear entertainment. That's the cool option. And when the car was new, somebody paid extra dollar for those screens. The only I don't like, it's 2019, so there is not much stuff to connect to that. And probably we still have a DVD player, or maybe not. Let me check. So we got USB, we got the chargers, right? And what? That's it. I think there is no more CD, no more DVD on that. That's good. Isn't cool to sit on the back with air suspension Range Rover and to enjoy your ride as a passenger? I think it's a good idea to be on the back of this car. So as a back passenger, what else I can do? I can go to navigation and see where I'm at right now. So the navigation is loading. I can see what's the temperature. Same time, I can play with climate control. I can play with media, and on the media I got some headphones that's supposed to help me. So on the media we got Sirius XM, radio, and media library. So media library, I can basically put USB cord if I have to, if I want to, and play some videos or some music. Same time I can use DVD player, the one located in the glove box, and watch some old style movie or cartoons if we're talking about the kids. I mean, it is a nice option. I wouldn't say I would pay 20,000, 30,000, but right now you basically getting it for free. You just have to do research. If one of the car has it, same car with same price might not gonna have it. So it's always to have some extra, and if you get in the used car, I would for sure check for the one has a full options and full stuff like the rear entertainment. All right, for you as a driver, what are you gonna get? You're gonna get nice interior, great shape, 80,000 miles. This car holds really good. Sound system Meridian, we got the full control of the driver's seat right there, plus we got the cooled ventilated seats. It's not gonna be that hot to drive it. In Los Angeles right now when it's 100 outside, it's super hot and it feels hot, but besides that, like I say already, we are getting a lot of cool option. So not sure, yeah, you can see it. So heads up display, it helps a lot, especially when you're driving at night, so you can see your current speed and some other option. The speed limit, it shows right there, and it shows parking right now. So drive and the speed, that's all it does, your heads up display. So 360 camera, for the huge SUV, it is a good option. It's really necessary to have a 360 camera on a huge SUV like that, just because it helps a lot when you park in the car, so you're gonna be sure nobody can scratch it, or you're not gonna scratch anyone on the parking lot. So the cup holders, what I don't understand, the car for 150,000 doesn't have automated lid, right? So for example, the Cadillac CTS or some other Cadillacs, they do have, especially the Escalade, the more expensive one, they do have that lid as automated. So you push a little bit down and it's closing or opening itself. Here you have to do it manually. Not a big deal. Again, the quality, it's good. 80,000 miles, 5 years old car, nothing going on, so nothing is falling apart. The paint is still here. It's not faded and it's not sticky. Usually the older Range Rovers, they used to have that problem when the buttons getting sticky, so it's kind of paint falling apart. And right there we got the ref, so you can put some cold drinks inside and they gonna stay cold If you have a wallet like that, you got lucky. If you don't have it, just wait for it, you're gonna get one. So 2 USB chargers, mini SIM card if you wanna do calls from your car during you driving it. Range Rover feels so good. Yay, there is a DVD player right there. Hey, I was thinking it's no more DVD. I'm not honestly so much attractive to those kind of things, like the DVD player has in the car or not, but this car still has it. So top lid and the bottom lid, manual books. Like I say, nobody reading it nowadays, so you can Google it and find any information you need for this car. Even though this car stated it's gonna get 18 mpg, I'm still getting about 14, 12, sometimes 15, 18. Maybe on a long drive on the freeway you're gonna get about 18 mpg, but in the city I never seen those numbers. If you see the numbers like that before 18, maybe you get in 20, let me know in the comments below, please. So all right guys, let's go on the more options. So we got the huge panoramic roof, and it's huge for you, for the passengers in the back. It's a nice view, especially if you're driving at night or you have like mountains to check it out. The shade, that's one of the most common problem on those cars. So it's getting stuck, it's getting like falling apart, all those small clips and pins inside, and it's not sliding, it's getting stuck always. But I think the smart choice, if you get in the used Range Rover, just use it super rare, so you're not gonna have any problems with your moonroof. That's just reality of the big expensive cars. Some of the parts they're doing so good, but some of the parts for some reason they're using it from the production company. I don't know where they get in the parts for sunroof or for the engine transmission. They just not holding. So basically those kind of things ruining the whole car, ruining the whole brand. And that's what I'm going to talk about. What's ruining this car? What's ruining the value of this beautiful Range Rover? So guys, design, if you remember the previous body of Range Rover full size, they used to produce it since 2002 all the way till 2012. So 10 years that body been exist on the market. 2013 there is a new body came, and it is 2024 right now. They still didn't change the body. They did the new one with those fancy tail lights, but it's kind of the same car, isn't it? So the question is, when they're gonna come up with totally new body, or this body is so good, so improved, and they don't want to change it anymore. They just want to keep going the next 5-6 years without replacing that body, those shapes and the style. But to be honest with you, again, I like the way it looks, I like the size of this car, and there is not so many cars to compare. Maybe Mercedes GLS, but again, it's not. And especially right now, what the Range Rover doing, Land Rover itself, Range Rover, they doing it as a high-end SUV. That's what always used to be. But if you ever walk to the new car store and see what they're doing right now, so basically right now, they selling those cars as a piece of art. So each car sitting inside its own room, and you can walk inside that room and sit with the car as long as you want. So you can enjoy it, you can drink some coffee, drink some water, think about it, check the door, so nobody touching you. You are sitting inside that room with the car itself, and you taking some time to do the right decision for you, if you want to pay those 150 or 200,000 for that beautiful new Range Rover, or you don't want to. That's always your choice, and the dealership, they're allowing you to do that. That's kind of cool. So there is no pushing from the salesman, nobody trying to tell you what to do or what not to do. You're taking your time because you came to do the serious buy. The same way what we're doing with the cars like that. So we're never pushing the customers to buy those kind of cars. I mean, you come in for the used Range Rover, you probably know what you're buying. You probably know what might gonna happen and how much money you're gonna pay. But same time, you're not paying 150,000, you're paying 40,000, 30,000, 50,000, depends on the mileage. So you basically cutting the half. Yes, it's a used car. Yes, it has some mileage. Yes, it's gonna drop the value over the years. But I think it's worth it for you to lose that money, because you're gonna enjoy the car. You're gonna spend time with this car. You're gonna enjoy it with your family. Plus, you're gonna enjoy it for yourself. The way it drives, the way it looks, the way it feels, it's not something cheap. It's something super expensive, what it's right now affordable for you. So tough choice, it's always 50-50, but if you're making the choice, always spend some money, like I say, on a checkup. Take it to the right mechanic shop who's gonna check it for you and tell you, yes, it's a good car to buy, you can spend your money on it. So guys, let's go on the engine. That's V8, 518 horsepower, powered with ZF transmission. It's super powerful transmission, super, I would say, reliable if you're doing the maintenance on time. Most of the problems come in, again, when the maintenance performed not well, or your size of the tires, it's not right. So I had the problem before when on the back I used to have a little bit bigger tires than in the front. So transmission was acting super weird and nobody could fix that problem. And it was only difference on the high, a little bit, 55 instead of 50. That's created a lot of problems. So the engine itself, I would say the complete engine, it is reliable, but small things like the air leak, the coolant leak, some oil leak, the small gaskets, that's what's causing the problem. That's what's ruining the whole car, because they call it unreliable, it's expensive to fix, and it's better to stay away of this car if it has mileage on it and it's not under warranty anymore. But again, as I always say, if you have a good mechanic, you're gonna find the right guy who's gonna perform the job well, not gonna triple charge you on the work, whatever needs to be done on the car. It's always gonna be your win. You're always gonna win situation when you're not overpaying for the labor. Especially this car, it's not that complicated. Yes, you might gonna find the problem with your timing chains later on, or the guides, they worn out and they need to be replaced. But that labor could be not that expensive how you think it could be. So basically, some of the shops, they might gonna say it's a 5-6K just to do the timing chains, but I know the places who can do it for much less. So 2019 Range Rover, Land Rover Range Rover Supercharged 5.0. The brand new car MSRP was 122,000, and right now with 84,000 miles, it is for sale for 40. That's the market value, and you might gonna find it cheaper, you might gonna find it more expensive, plus or minus, but again, it's always, most of the time, it's not only about the mileage, that's about the condition of the car, that's about the service records, that's about the way it looks and drives right now, how it looks inside, all the leather seats, and on and on and on. Any oil leak, any coolant leak, check engine light, your RPM jumping a little bit, it might suck in air, so it might gonna cost you a lot of money to fix that air leak, so your RPM gonna go normal and the car gonna drive nice. And also it is affecting the transmission way, the way it's shifting, the way it's driving, is it comfortable or not. But in general, it is a beautiful car, to be honest with you, and I'm always enjoying to drive this kind of car. Even though it's a little bit expensive on the gas, because V8 supercharged has a lot of power, 518 horsepower. It is kind of fast for the SUV. It is a huge, massive SUV. There is a lot of stuff you can carry on when you're driving it. It's beautiful and it's so joyful to take it on a long trip, like if you're going to, I don't know, Nevada or any Zion Park or something like that. Active cruise control and on and on and on, line keeping, so comfortable inside, the climate control, the way the AC works, the panoramic roof, and it's just so cool to drive it. So let's drive it and talk about the way it feels, the way suspension works. We have air suspension on that. So it is helping a lot when the car is still tinted all around, especially when it's 100 outside. It's so hot here in Los Angeles today. And we are in July, beginning of July. So if I'm driving it slowly, kind of not pushing, you know, not trying it so hard to spend my money on gas, it is kind of okay. So let's see how bad or how good it is right now. I'm gonna see on my trip, right? I'm gonna see on my trip what I got as a MPG. So I'm getting about 14 MPG. Is it bad or not? I don't know. But even though I have a little bit more than a half tank, I have 200 miles range on that. According on the premium gas you have to use for this car, feels kind of expensive. And what I want to talk about, that's the reason why those cars going on the price so fast and so hard. And the people, some of the people, they trying to stay away from Range Rover just because when you're talking about Range Rover problem, you know, my check engine light comes on and I don't know where to take it, I don't know how much it's going to cost. That's it. It's always about the huge dollar amount to fix your check engine light on. But is it really that bad? Is it really that expensive to fix the problems on this car? Sometimes. But most of the time it's some I would say stupid little things like the air valve or the hoses or the small hoses for the coolant start leaking. And most of the time, by fixing those small problems, you are eliminating possibility to fix the huge problems. So basically you fixing the small things before the huge problem gonna appear on your car. So let's back it up a little bit and let's drive it. I like the way this air suspension works, and it's just amazing. It's just amazingly comfortable ride. From all the SUVs, whatever available on the market as a used one, I would not pay 200,000, even 150,000 for this brand new car. I would wait a little bit, 3, 4, 5 years. It's okay, I can wait and buy it used in great shape. I think it's a smart choice if you don't have the millions on your account yet. Even though I know some people who has a lot of properties, they're making a lot of money, but they are preferring to buy the used cars, to buy the used luxury cars, and they saying it's a much better, smart way to do that. So every person has their own calculation on the spending, but what I know for sure, the people who has money, they know what's the quality. They know, they count in the money. Besides they count in the money, they know the quality of the car. And the quality of the used Range Rover, it's super high. And comfortable of the ride, it's on a high level also. Because like I say, this suspension, it feels amazing. The way it drives, and those shocks, like I heard a lot of stories like, oh, this shock gonna cost me 2,000 each one and plus labor to replace it. No, it's not. You don't want to buy the used one, that's okay. I'm not buying used parts also, but I'm buying aftermarket parts. So basically those shocks right now, they're not in a high demand, and you can buy new one aftermarket for maybe like 250. So okay, your Range Rover for 50,000, for 40,000, one of the shock gonna go bad. Maybe it's like once in a, I don't know, 5-7 years. Honestly, they improved that quality of the shocks so good. If, for example, I used to buy the older one, or 5 or 6 or 7, and those shocks, they constantly leaking, they constantly creating a lot of problems. So on the new body Range Rovers, it's a super, for me, like I'm buying a lot of those cars, but for me it's super rare when the shock is going bad. One time I bought the shock and it cost me $240 for the shock itself, and I believe I pay like 120 or 140 to replace it, and calibration. So basically you have to do the adaptation, calibration for suspension every time you touch it, because the compressors start working differently. You know, it's not balanced. But again, it's a simple procedure, and when you have right scanner or you have a right mechanic who can do it so fast and cheap, you can do so. What else? Besides that, it's just amazing car. So let's go back to the question, what's ruining the value of this car? What's ruining the I would say the prestige of the used Range Rover? I think it's the engine. So I'm honestly still not sure. I know for sure till 2009 the Rover, they've been collaborating with GM to produce those V8 engine. But since 2012 they start producing new, or 2009, that's where I'm losing my knowledge a little bit. 2009 or 2012, Jaguar Land Rover, they start production of the totally new engines, improved engines, and what's last longer, what causing less problems, and same time they so powerful, like this supercharged V8 5.0 engine. Honestly guys, today it's so hot outside, I cannot even stand, so I found the shutter right here. I can do some video and talk about this car. And overall, Range Rover, is it worth it to buy it or not? As experience, I'm saying yes to all the cars. Yes to all the cars what used to be 150,000 or more than 100,000, and right now you can buy it 2 or 3 times cheaper than that. If it's in good condition, if the car has a decent value, so it's not like 2010, 2008 Range Rover, the one it's cost right now 5,000. It might gonna be okay, but for next couple of years that car is gonna fall apart. I believe in my prediction, this car gonna stay in a good shape about maybe 5-7 years next one, but depends of the new owner also. Sometimes people taking care of those cars so well and they keep going, they keep driving more than 10 years, more than 150,000 miles on the clock, and the car is still going to be drivable, in great shape, and everything's going to work. Yes, you might gonna see or meet some consequences after you buying the used Range Rover, but again, I think you are smart buyer, and before you're going to do that decision, you're going to put plus and minuses for those cars. So guys, good luck with that, to buy your new used Range Rover.